What's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing good. I'm Anthony K. Thomas, and welcome to Wrestling with Rumors. Welcome, everyone. So, before we get into everything that is this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors, like I say every week, every rumor that I'm about to read to you is exactly what it is. It is a rumor. We can speculate as wildly as we want, but until that rumor is proven fact, true by the person, company, or promotion the rumor is about, they remain what they are, rumors. So with that, let's get into a whole new episode of Wrestling with Rumors. Starting with WrestleVotes has noted the idea of SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis making an in-ring return has been talked about internally many times since he's been in his current role. It appears as though it's going to happen at SummerSlam. I would absolutely agree that this is more true than a rumor, especially after what we saw at the end of this past Friday's episode of SmackDown, and that where Gunther and Nick Aldis were in the ring, and Gunther wanting Nick Aldis to make it right and wanting a WWE Championship match. Obviously, Gunther not happy about it being CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Gunther wanting this to make it right. Uh, and Nick Aldis made it right in a sense by making a tag match for Saturday night's main event this Saturday, in which it will be Gunther and Sami Zayn going up against CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Gunther not happy with that and proceeding to put hands on Nick Aldis, choking him out, even after the producers and the refs came out to try and pull Gunther away to separate him. Gunther kept going. And as SmackDown came to an end, here comes Cody Rhodes, but we didn't see what happened at that point because that was the point where the feed was cut, fade to black, whatever you want to call it, and we didn't get to see what happened after that moment. But we can assume that Cody Rhodes was able to separate um, Gunther from Nick Aldis. So I feel that that really just adds more fuel to the fire of what will be a Nick Aldis versus Gunther at SummerSlam. And honestly, I've been waiting since Nick Aldis uh, debuted in WWE, but as general manager. I thought it was going to happen with Randy Orton. I could see a hell of a match that could have been Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton, especially the number of times Randy Orton has put Nick Aldis in an RK, has laid Nick Aldis out with an RKO, and nothing came from that. So it being Gunther and Gunther being known as the career killer, it is possible that this match is setting Gunther up to kill the wrestling career of Nick Aldis. Nonetheless, it is going to be great to see Nick Aldis finally in a match in WWE. If you haven't seen Nick Aldis wrestle in a match, go on YouTube, check out some of his matches. There are some great matches he had, especially at the very first All In when it was Hangman Adam Page, when it was the Young Bucks, when it was Cody Rhodes that were really funding this thing, because that first All In was really the seed that planted that eventually became AEW. But in that particular All In match, that was the first All In. That was Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis for the NWA Championship, and that was a fantastic match. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping this. It really feels like this is what it's leading to. Nick Aldis having his finally having a match in WWE at SummerSlam. Looking forward to that. Just waiting for it to be confirmed. I'm sure it will be in the coming weeks. According to Brian Alvarez, there are plenty of people in AEW who aren't thrilled at the prospects of Sheamus coming to the company. Everyone likes him a lot personally, but the belief is that there are too many people under contract and not enough TV time to go around. Absolutely agree with that. Tony Khan has been, and I know this is probably a poor choice of words, but has been collecting a lot of talent, whether it's released talent from WWE or other independent promotions, or he has been collecting a lot of talent. A lot of that talent gets used for a little bit, but it goes a while before it gets used again. WWE is guilty of that as well. A lot of promotions can be guilty of that they'll bring in the talent that they're excited to use, and then maybe some time will go by and they don't use them for a while because they don't have anything else creative for them, or it didn't work out as they planned. So I can understand people in WWE how it could be frustrating for the idea of someone like Sheamus to come in. I could see it being the same way for New Day, how it could be frustrating to bring a new tag team in when you got so many other good tag teams in AEW. Fightful, chi- Fightful chimes in to say Sheamus, former WWE tag team partner and good friend, um, um, Callisto, is expected to be one of, excuse me, many within the company to push for AEW to sign him. I get that the history of that, the bar, and then possibly bringing him in to be a part of the Death Riders, possibly as well. Um, but Fightful also mentioned on the In the Weeds show that Sheamus' original deal was reported to expire in 2029. So something appears to have changed in his status. It's unclear exactly when his contract with WWE is officially up still. They did say when WWE tried to restructure his deal, it was within months of its expiration anyway. So no point in outright releasing him. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, absolutely. That one really speaks for itself. Per WrestleVotes, it would appear there are no plans for a deeper WWE expansion into Japan anytime soon. However, even though anytime soon, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Never say never. The idea of it is probably sitting on a shelf somewhere, or still orbiting around someone's mind, like a Triple H or someone else. So it's going to happen, like an NXT Japan or something like that. But for now, it's not going to happen. But we never say never, because the idea is still very much. I still believe it's still very much alive. Votes heard, WWE was considering an international location for Survivor Series 2026. But those plans fell through. Negotiations to host the show in the city of Boston, Massachusetts, also didn't work out due to financial reasons. It's expected that WWE will announce a location and venue for Survivor Series before SummerSlam takes place on August 1st. So we should be hearing about where Survivor Series will be sometime within the coming days, or more than likely in the coming 3 weeks that we have left in the month. Our Wrestling Observer Radio's Brian Alvarez said Jack Perry was days away from being done before he re-signed with AEW. WWE sources indicate to Fightful Select that the company never really discussed signing him as a free agent because he isn't seen as a good fit for the promotion. F4W Online's Brian Alvarez thinks Perry would be laying around backstage like Johnny Gargano if he ended up in WWE. Yeah, probably. I mean, I could see Perry on NXT for a while to build up his resume, as I would say, in NXT, be to really build up his resume, go after a North American Championship, probably the speed title, then the NXT championship at some point. But I'm really happy that Jack Perry re-signed with AEW, because, as he said it before, AEW is his home. I really feel like it's where he belongs. He's not done in AEW yet. He's got unfinished business in AEW. And one of the big things of that unfinished business is winning the AEW championship. That is his main focus, and he resigned to eventually win that championship. So I am rooting for him. As far as referencing to Johnny Gargano, yeah, he has been in that position for the last. I I think it's fair to say he's been in that position since Tommaso Ciampa, debuted in AEW. I think it's fair to say. I think Johnny Gargano had a moment in NXT going after and getting another shot at the NXT North American Championship, but after that, kind of just faded back into that position. And I'm after the brief interaction between Candice LeRae and CM Punk this past Friday on SmackDown. I'm hoping with CM Punk on SmackDown now, it does something for Johnny Gargano and getting him out of that lying still position and getting him back to being who he is and doing what he does best. Johnny Gargano and getting Candice LeRae matches back on SmackDown. So I'm hoping it leads back to that. But again, time will tell. And just hoping that there is better things on the other side for Johnny Gargano in WWE. According to the Observer, this week's World Championship match and high stakes situation between MJF and Kenny Omega was originally planned for the main event of the AEW Redemption pay-per-view in Montreal on July 26. It's believed that MJF is the one who pushed for the match to be moved up to Dynamite Beach Breaker. The fact that Tony Khan went along with the idea means he must feel got something he's got something pay-per-view worthy to replace it at Redemption, and I am very curious to know what that is, as I'm sure everybody else is. Allow the speculations to go wild on this one. So that will do it for the rumor portion of Wrestling with Rumors, and I want to tell you all a quick story. It's as much of a true story as it can be. It's called Sami Zayn, the road to the WWE Championship, and it all started when Sami Zayn signed with WWE January of 2013. I'm taking it back, all the way back. Then on May 22nd of 2020, okay, so January 2013, that's when Sami Zayn signs with WWE. In May 22nd of 2013, Sami Zayn made his NXT debut against Kurt Hawkins. Fast forward to December 11th of 2014 at NXT TakeOver Evolution. Sami Zayn wins the NXT Championship. That is around the same time that Kevin Owens makes his debut on in WWE in NXT. Sami Zayn shares a special moment with his best friend, his brother, Kevin Owens. They hug it out. It was a beautiful moment. February 11th, 2015, at NXT TakeOver Rival, he loses the NXT title, and this is after Kevin Owens turns on Sami Zayn and that power bomb on the apron of the ring. Damn. So that leads into a match in which Sami Zayn loses the NXT Championship to Kevin Owens, and that he lost that match not by pin, not by submission, but by the ref having to stop the match. Kevin Owens beat Sami Zayn so severely that the ref had to stop the match, and that's how Kevin Owens wins the NXT Championship. We fast forward to May 4th of 2015, and Sami Zayn answers John Cena's open challenge by being introduced by Bret Hart when it was, in Montreal, Canada. Sami Zayn comes out very hyped, very ready for this. And as he's doing this, as he's right at the steps about to enter the ring, as he's doing this, he accidentally he accidentally he accidentally disrupts his shoulder. Dislocates his shoulder. There it is. Sorry, it took me a minute to get that. He dislocates his shoulder, but he continues on with the match. He feels that it's been dislocated, but he starts the match. He goes on through the match with a dislocated shoulder, goes through that entire match. He loses that match to John Cena, but that was a hell of a debut for Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw. It wasn't his official debut onto the main roster yet. Sami Zayn, on May 20th of 2015 at NXT TakeOver Unstoppable, Sami Zayn gets his rematch for the NXT title against Kevin Owens, which ended in a no contest when when Zayn was unable to continue the match. We move forward to January 24th, 2016. Sami enters into the Royal Rumble at Wrestle enters into the Royal Rumble. Then we get to WrestleMania. We get to WrestleMania 36. Zayn, um, oh, pardon me. Not yet. At WrestleMania 32, Zayn was in a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, in which that was the match where Zack Ryder won that Intercontinental Championship March 8th of 2019 at Elimination Chamber in a 3-on-1 handicap match against Braun Strowman. Zayn won the Intercontinental Championship match by pinning Braun Strowman to win that match. At WrestleMania 36, Zayn retains the Intercontinental title against Daniel Bryan. And then we get to 2020. COVID happens. Sucks. Zayn was stripped of the Intercontinental Championship because he refused to compete during the uncertain times of COVID. In August 28th, 2020, Zayn returns and attacks Jeff Hardy and calling himself the real Intercontinental Championship. September 27th at Clash of Champions in a triple threat match. Sami wins the Intercontinental Championship. That was a triple threat match between AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy. Sami Zayn wins that Intercontinental title. We get all the way to December 25th, a Christmas episode of SmackDown. Sami Zayn loses the Intercontinental title to Big E. Then we get all the way to 2021, WrestleMania 39, Zayn and Owens versus the Usos. Zayn and Owens win and become the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. Now, Zayn and Owens get back together at the end of Zayn's time with the Bloodline, and after Zayn also having a match against Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship, in which Zayn came fairly close to winning, but loses that match, and that slowly starts to build into Zayn and Owens getting back together as a team, and then eventually it leads into a match at WrestleMania to take on the Usos, in which they win the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships. And they hold on to those championships until September 2nd at Payback, in which Zayn and Owens lose the tag team titles to the Judgment Day. And at the time, Judgment Day, so Damian Priest and Finn Balor at that time. Then night one at WrestleMania 40, this is the following year, Sami Zayn beats Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, as Gunther was holding that title for 166 days. Zayn is the one to end that reign. And that was at WrestleMania 40. Then Sami Zayn, we get to August 12th, SummerSlam. He loses the Intercontinental title to Braun Breaker. Now we're getting all the way to 2025 as we get into August 29th of SmackDown. Sami Zayn wins the United States Championship for the first time against Solo Sikoa. Great match. I remember that match. I mean, it just happened almost happened a year ago. Then it begins to issue an open challenge. Issues an open challenge and was successful in that open challenge, as he was dedicating doing that open challenge as paying respect to John Cena, because 2025 was during the time when John Cena was in the middle of his retirement tour, and Sami Zayn brought back that open challenge. And he was successful in these open challenges until October 17th on SmackDown against Ilya Dragunov, a returning Ilya Dragunov, as Dragunov wins the United States Championship. A year later, in 2026, Zayn wins his second United States title in an open challenge against Carmelo Hayes. Once Carmelo Hayes won the championship from Ilya Dragunov, as Ilya Dragunov continued on with the open challenge, so did Carmelo Hayes. That open challenge was restarted with Sami Zayn and continued on with Ilya Dragunov, and then continued on again with Carmelo Hayes. And then it comes back around to Sami Zayn as he wins that second United States title in an open challenge. Then 23 days later, Sami Zayn loses the United States Championship to Trick Williams at this past WrestleMania, at WrestleMania 42. We get all the way to June 27th, Night of Champions, in a triple threat match. Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wins the WWE Undisputed Championship. Beautiful moment, a moment finally happening. It took 13 years. Granted, yes, Sami Zayn has been wrestling for around 25 years, but it took Sami Zayn, since signing with WWE, 13 years to get to that moment, winning the WWE Championship. 9 days later, loses it at Monday Night Raw to a returning CM Punk. 13 years to capture the WWE Championship, Sami Zayn will forever be known as a former WWE champion, a Grand Slam winner. People like Daniel Bryan, who at one time held the WWE title for 4 minutes before Randy Orton cashed his Money in the Bank contract. In recent years, you look at Drew McIntyre, how Drew McIntyre was rubbing his world heavyweight championship win against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, I believe 41. Yeah, at WrestleMania 41, when CM Punk was hurt and couldn't compete in that match, was unable to compete because he got hurt at that Royal Rumble. I think it was at 41. It was either 41. No. Pardon me. It was WrestleMania 40. It was at WrestleMania 40. Drew McIntyre winning that world title, flaunting it in his face, having that moment with his wife, standing on top of the announcers table, and then here comes, and then CM Punk can't take anymore, drops with one arm, trips Drew McIntyre, gets him back in the ring. Here comes Damian Priest to pick up the pieces, and that's it for Drew McIntyre loses the world title like that. And you also look at Drew Mac, and then you also look at CM Punk, who last year won the world title from Gunther, and then after a hard fought battle against Gunther at last year's SummerSlam, loses the world title like that to Seth Rollins, who is healed up and is ready to come back. And so a lot of names. Those are just some of the names who have held short title reigns. I understand and respect the frustration from everybody about the short title reign for Sami Zayn, but just to name those names alone of who had held short title reigns, Sami Zayn had a much longer title reign than those people initially in the beginning. Short title reigns, whether in any promotion, happens, and it sucks that it was for only 9 days for Sami Zayn, and then his first title reign loses the WWE Championship. It happens in WWE. It's not something a lot of people like, especially when it's their favorite wrestler. But I also believe that that I also believe that Sami Zayn will, and I'm probably alone in this and believing this, but I believe that Sami Zayn will hold the WWE Championship or even World Heavyweight Championship. He will hold it, and it will be for a lot longer than 9 days. But I believe and that'll do it for this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can keep up when all new episodes of Wrestling with Rumors drops right here on my Wrestling with Rumors channel. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, leave a comment. I appreciate all of you for watching, for listening, and I hope all you have a good, fun, and safe week. Don't forget to take care of yourselves, and I will be back next Sunday for a whole new week of Wrestling with Rumors. Until then, in the meantime and in between time, take care of yourselves. Peace, y'all.